everybody, and welcome back to this episode of the Romantasy Round Table, a tale of Rick and Roses. This is Rick, and I'm joined by my roses,
Amanda
and Kim.
And last we left you, we were into Onyx Storm, and we have now finished Onyx Storm.
We have
finished Onyx Storm, and you know what? Just gonna put it up front. I loved it.
Same.
It was so good. How you guys been? Man, are you still concussed?
I'm not going to answer that question anymore.
All right. You still got a broken hand?
I still have a broken hand. Well, broken finger.
But the cast is off, though, right?
No, the cast is on.
You have a follow-up today, though.
I have a follow-up today. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have a cast for much longer. I hope we don't, because this thing is it's a club. It's like a giant weapon.
You know, it doesn't sound comfortable having a cast in New York City in the summer.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I would like to not have a cast anymore. That's my wish.
Kim, how's your cast?
No cast here, fortunately.
They can't hear you because you're 5 feet away from the mic.
Oh, you guys are like really close to it. Makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, graduation was yesterday. So we work in a school, as you all know. So it's been a crazy couple of days with getting the seniors out of here. So I am mentally and physically exhausted, but excited about the summer.
Wait, we actually have a really important shout out to do on this podcast.
Yeah, the literary lifestyle. Thank you for your book thoughts.
Our most loyal listeners, perhaps our only listeners, are engaged.
Yay!
Congratulations to Cindy and Steven.
Oh, wait. Here's to future. You get it. You started there? It was the soup bell.
Rick, we've been playing friend trivia all morning. Rick, what have you been referring to Steven as?
Oh, the hair guy. Also a hair guy. I'm sorry, we're going to talk about the book in a minute. I know your favorite part is us not talking about the book, but I think we're going to cut into that because we really did like the book.
We really liked the book.
We really like the book.
Should we jump in?
Yeah, let's start. Amanda, you're the best at this, so let's just start by telling everyone how right I was.
All right, so we start off in chapter 50. Violet has her recurring nightmare about the sage. Oh, we're using summaries from the literary lifestyle again, as Rick already said. Sorry.
Oh, wait. I always put this at the end. If you like what you're listening to, don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast and tell all of your friends to listen. And my forwarding email is working, so if you would like to say, Steven, because I know your name, you are more than just your hair, okay? You're more than just your hair to me. You can send us an email at, don't make that face with your face, romantasyroundtable@gmail.com. All right, go ahead.
I have two things, actually. First and foremost, we're up to 15 subscribers on YouTube.
Woohoo!
I don't know who you are, but thank you for sticking with us.
That's at least 10 people who aren't us, Cindy or Steven.
Correct. Amazing. And second, I don't know if either of you were diehard fans of the Princess Diaries back in the day.
I wouldn't say diehard, but I have seen them.
But there's a scene in the first movie where her friend is trying to transition the class that they're in back to actually talking about the class rather than Anne Hathaway's character. I can't remember the name of now. And she's like, let's stop talking about hair and talk about Voltaire, which I keep thinking of every time you try to transition us back to the book.
So let's stop talking about hair, Steven, and start talking about dragons.
Yep.
All right. Violet has a recurring nightmare about the sage, but this time she thinks about channeling from the earth, and her hand looks like Zaden's with a relic. Zaden has had the... Okay. Rick was right.
Yep.
Gold star for Rick.
Thank you.
Violet is a dreamwalker, and so they realize that Violet's second signet is dreamwalking. It's a form of intrinsic. It's more powerful than Zaden's because he can only read somebody's mind while they're awake and therefore is limited by their ability to shield. But you can't shield if you're asleep.
You cannot shield if you're asleep.
And it also confirms that Violet was in Marin's dream with the portrait. So she goes out to Marin's room. So other than Rick being right, what were our thoughts on this?
Yeah, I literally wrote blah, 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 Dreamwalker. Rick was right. And I'll be honest, and maybe it's because we talked about it so much, and Rick has been so insistent that this is what was happening for the last couple of episodes now.
Yep.
that it was sort of like when lightning manifested, I was kind of let down.
No, this is good. This one is good. I like this one.
Yeah, I have some more thoughts that I'm going to save for a later chapter, but my thoughts at this point were, they talk about why she manifested this signet, and it's because Andarna was in the dreamless sleep for so long, and Violet was desperate to communicate with her, so she must have manifested this particular signet out of that need. And I also at this point wrote that Irids are a peaceful breed, and this is a peaceful gift. It's not like, it's not as destructive as lightning, which I had sort of predicted that her second signet was going to be something more peaceful.
I'm listening to Fourth Wing, the graphic audio. That's how they start every episode, or the thing. And we're going to come up to some of the stuff in this later, but Rebecca has been throwing stuff directly in our face the entire book. In the first book, like, someone says, not Irids, but they say the Feathertails are a peaceful breed of dragon. And I'm like, this woman, god damn it. Like, from the beginning. Anywho, I have no notes. I'm right. I'm just this is my victory lap.
So then we move on to chapter 51, where Greenfire Wyvern are on their way. They're traveling in smaller pairings, and Violet moves past the wards, and Andarna protects the wardstone. Some Wyvern are killed. Taryn is in pain. This is also where Aaric is like, go to the temple. That is where you are needed. And I was like, can that man see the future?
Yep.
Okay, I did not say that.
I did. I said Aaric can see the future.
I believe you. What I said, I was like, she's not listening. Why are you not listening? Have you not been on this journey, Violet? When someone tells you to do something, just listen to them. They know something that you don't. So,
my note says, "Go to the dang temple, you idiots."
Yeah.
So yes. Totally agree.
I say huge battle, and then Taryn gets hurt at the end. He gets a little wyvern bone stuck in his wing.
Yeah, so the epigraph for this chapter, I thought was a real gut punch. So the epigraph for this chapter is, for maximum potential, riders should be stationed close to their villages if possible. Nothing is a more effective motivator than seeing one's home on fire. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, we've talked about this a lot, about particularly about Bisgayeth and how violent they're training everybody to be. But I think this really illuminates that it's not just Bisgayeth. It's like the whole system is really designed to break people.
Yeah.
And to turn them into, I would say, disposable weapons. Mm-hmm. Okay. So in chapter 51, so that's when we learned that so the Wyverns... So the Wyvern's wing spur broke off in Taryn's leg, and Rhee pulls the thorn out with her
mind.
Yeah, which is so cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
See, that's a powerful, fun signet to me.
I have thoughts, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting a couple chapters. The prince orders Andarna to protect.
This is chapter 52, yeah.
It's chapter 52, but it says the prince, but that's Aaric. Violet attempts to remove the wing spur, but Wyvern approach. She believes that if the Wyvern this close, without being halted by the wards, they will skip over the undrained territory of Krovla and go for the hatching grounds. Theophany approaches, and Violet realizes that Theophany was a high priestess of Dun.
Dune?
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 I say Dune.
Of Dooney.
Whatever, yeah.
We also hear here that... Here. The priestesses dye their hair.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, they talk about how, do you use the lye and the blah, blah, blah flower?
Right.
So then my question was, does Theophany dye her hair? Because that does not seem like Venom behavior to me.
No.
That's not a Theophany thing. She's naturally silver.
So a dark wielder vanishes like Garrick, and then Wyvern fall from the sky, and Zaden appears. There's no red in his eyes, and he says the wards went up, which means the Irids have arrived.
The Irids came back. Guys.
Yep. I mean, we knew from, as we talked about in the last episode, that Leoan? Yeah. The one Irid who was maybe, possibly on Andarna's side here, had left that door open. we knew that they were going to come back. At least that's what I had said last episode. I was surprised they came back this quickly.
Yeah, I didn't think they were coming back, but they came back. Honestly, I didn't think they were coming back.
Yeah.
Funny. So I wrote, I think they came in through Theophany's cloud. Like, I think that's I think they mentioned something like that, and there was a big cloud. And I was like, didn't they go over that in Battle Brief? Like, why were they expecting this? Like, they talked about that. So I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, I actually also took a note of the hair thing, which is pretty funny. And Andarna couldn't burn Theophany, which I thought was interesting, because she could burn others.
Well, and the question was always like, was it just because it was her first fire?
Right.
And first fire is more powerful.
There is one thing that happened that I did note, that one of the Dark Wielders vanished like Garrick does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay.
But also took people with him.
Yeah, so at this point in the book, I'm like, I really think there's some sort of parallel universe thing going on. At this point is what, and I'm wrong. I'm incorrect.
I hate it so much.
But
I don't think it's a parallel universe thing. I think
not.
it is a magic always finds a balance thing, which I think we get at the end of this book.
We got there, but at this point, we weren't there yet.
Fine.
I wasn't there yet.
All right, so we're on chapter 53.
I'm sorry.
So that's Leoan. He's powered the wards to keep Violet safe, and he wants to take Andarna back with him.
I know, this is so sad.
So this Leoan, we had talked about this on a previous episode. I was like, is that her dad?
Yeah.
And you guys were like, that would be we don't know about dragon age, but that would be a really
It's a stretch.
old dragon, but he is her fam. And we were right. He is of her line. I also at this point wrote, the Irids are Quakers.
I love that.
That is fair.
There's a lot of tail flicking occurring in this chapter. And they're like, you're a disgrace to the... He's not like, you're a disgrace, but he's like, you could learn to be an Irid the way that the Irids are meant to be. And Scale is like, that is my baby, and she is a credit to the riot, and how very dare you. And Andarna leaves.
And I miss her already.
I was so sad.
I also felt like this was like classic teenage behavior here, because she was presented with this option by Leoan, and I could have remembered this wrong, but he doesn't put like a time frame on this but he is like, you can come with me. And if she wasn't a teenage dragon and didn't need instant gratification, she could have just gone later. Could have figured out some of this mess of stuff first, and then gone and met the fam and become her best Irid version. And I also feel that in general, just about like the roller coaster of emotions that we've had with Andarna, I have had at least, she's a teenager.
Yeah.
Man.
That's so real.
I wrote down the epigraph. I don't know what you call it.
I wrote it down too about the epigraph.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It talks about dedication and high priestesses. And I'm again coming back to like Violet was dedicated, but didn't fully complete her transition to priesthood or whatever.
Yeah, the epigraph is from Lilith, her mom. And it said, Asher returned today. God's helps us as anyone finds out. I'm not sure I'll ever forgive him for what he's done to her. Oh,
sorry. The epigraph about dedication was chapter 52. And then that was my bad. And then the epigraph from chapter 53 was, I wrote again, was she dedicated? Yes. Yeah, so we're getting a lot of stuff about that. I wrote in my notes, you can't leave.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, only an Irid can shape the magic this much. So basically, I guess Irids have, which we know, like a different kind of magic. That's why Violet was able to communicate with Andarna and Terran outside the continent. And so Andarna was able to shape the magic to become a second dragon for Violet. And so the implication is like, if she chooses to come back, she will be able to rebond with Violet. And because Violet is still bonded to Terran, she will be able to survive the loss of her dragon. But obviously that's really, really hard. And as we move into chapter 54, Violet is like seriously mourning the loss of Andarna, and it's really sad.
Yeah, I write she's big sad. She's big depressed. Like she's going through it.
Yeah, we're getting so much in this book about the bonds that riders have with their dragons and like their different relationships and just like the love that's there. It is like such a real huge love. It's just really sad.
I love the chapter. So this is beginning chapter 54. I was like really into the battle that they were having, and then for the beginning of chapter 54, I was like, wait, that's it? They won?
Yeah, because
that's it.
The wards.
They won just like that.
Leoan showed up and put up the wards.
Yeah, I thought it was really anticlimactic. Anywho, continue.
So Violet's in chapter 54. She's in bed. She's crying. She's big depressed.
Days and days.
Days and days. And Mira and Brennan are both there, and they're arguing over the missing months in their mother's journal when she left them with their grandmother Niara, who stopped speaking to them afterwards. Mira believes her parents dedicated Violet to Dooney during that time, and Violet recalls the Umbrish High Priestess telling her that it was good that her dedication was not complete. They wouldn't take Violet because her path wasn't certain. The priestess said if Violet chose poorly, she could earn...
Yes.
Okay, the priestess said if Violet chose poorly, she could earn their mentorship, but she'd have to turn. Violet realizes her dad took her there, and Mira says the priestess predicted she'd turn dark, and Zaden steps in and admits that he has turned Venin, not Violet, and Mira is pissed.
Big mad. That's what I got there. Everyone's big mad. That's what I got.
I think this is a red herring.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. This is not what they were talking about.
Right. Zaden's like, it's me, and it's like, no, actually, it is going to be Violet.
It's going to be Violet. That's what I think.
Violet that chooses wrong and becomes Venin?
Yes. I don't know. It just seemed it's coincidental.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I did not believe this one bit. He was just biting the bullet for her.
Yeah, I didn't think that Zaden was like, it's me, and that like shut down the conversation. But I do think that this is classic hero's journey trope of like, you are the chosen one and you can either be bad or good and you must choose. And I don't think she's going to choose bad.
Fair.
I just don't.
Yeah. You know, I
think she'll be tempted and she will choose not to.
We're going to get into this later, but I have a note and I wrote somewhere that like, I actually don't agree with you, and I do think Venin are bad inherently. And there might be some that aren't, but I do think they're inherently bad. That's my thoughts. Even to the end of this book.
Yeah, I don't want to say that I'm like lessening on that, but
like I think some can be good. I think some can be good, but I think they are a bad whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
So,
I'm looking for something in because it's chapter 56.
We're looking for chapter 56 right now, but we're talking about chapter 55.
We're talking about chapter 55. So, in chapter 55, Navarre may declare war on Tyrrendor for defying the Cenarium. Violet is struggling with runes without Andarna. Bodhi wants to drop out of school, but Zaden won't allow it. Bodhi says he intends to be Zaden's right-hand man for the rest of their lives, and Zaden cuts them off from shipments of Palladium. Something else that happens at the very beginning of this chapter is Kat's sister, Serena, has been missing for like a long time.
Oh, okay.
And like, where is she? Like,
right.
She's like supposedly off on some mission, but she's like important. So I don't understand why she's gone. Whatever the opposite of a red herring is, this is that. Like, I feel like it's like it's a blue herring. It's a teeny tiny little Easter egg that seems insignificant.
The foreshadowing.
Like, yeah, like where is she? Certain materials can carry magic beyond the continent and others can't, I think, around runes, which is, again, why, like, some of the runes worked, some of them didn't. And Violet is so used to using Andarna's power to power the runes, and she talks about the difference between their powers and, like, the golden threads that she's able to pull from Andarna's power and how hard it is to do that with Terran's power, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, every time they talk about, like, sitting in the hatching ground and doing ruins, which is like the third time we've had them do this, it always feels like arts and crafts to me. Because they're all like sitting on the ground with their little practice discs, like, try to pull the golden threads. But I do love that, like, Felix comes in here also as they're working with the ruins and finally sort of like calls Violet out on her shit and is like, get it together. So I do think that this is kind of an important moment for her sort of coming back into herself.
Go ahead.
Just one other thing about the Bodhi stuff, too, is Violet gets angry at Zaden as he's talking about, like, wanting to train Bodhi as his second, and she's like, you're preparing for your death. Which, okay, yes, maybe he acknowledges, but also my thought as I was reading that, too, is that, like, that's just being a good leader.
Yeah, he's
Is
preparing.
like-
You got to prepare your heir. That's how it works.
You got to cross-train everybody. You got to have someone in line for succession. Like, that just makes sense.
It's more like prepare, right? Prepare, air.
At the end of this chapter, we also get a whiff of implied soup. And it is towards the throne because, as we know, Rebecca loves a chair.
Yep, Rebecca and the fucking throne is what I wrote.
I wrote
a note.
I wrote second throne reference in the book. She's really proud of that scene.
Rebecca loves a chair. Okay, we're moving on to chapter 56.
So that gets a little...
Just one.
Just a little
Just
one.
one.
Guys, chapter 56 starts with Violet in Zaden's dream.
That's crazy.
My friends, Andarna, she gone.
She's gone.
Yep.
She's gone. That means that this second signet comes from Terran. And that means, lock it in, Violet has 3 signets.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
That feels exciting to me.
I'm locking that in. Look, my Venom are inherently good. It feels wild. This feels like a certainty to me. There is no way she could still be manifesting magic from Andarna, and she wasn't able to manifest magic from Andarna when Andarna was sleeping. That came from Terran, with her trying to connect with Andarna while Andarna was sleeping. That's Terran magic. That's not Andarna magic. I don't know why she's able to pull 2 signets from Terran.
I've never thought about this.
But he's so powerful that, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem surprising to me.
Maybe there is
His lineage. I said before she did.
It's possible.
Because that's how you get 2 signets. If your like grandparent was, that's why, hey, Zaden has it.
Okay.
I beat her.
You're terrible.
But, like, how could she have accessed Andarna's power while she was sleeping? And how could she be accessing Andarna's power? The bond is severed. She can't hear Andarna.
Yeah.
She couldn't hear Andarna when she was 2 feet in front of her after the bond was severed.
My other thought about this also, too, is that because Zaden's having this dream with the sage, and we know that these dreams are actually, like, the sage is there. And so what does that mean about the sage and the sage's signet? And so I don't think it's that he's a dream walker. I wonder if he's like a dream weaver.
Love that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And maybe that's just like the further manifestation of the signet that
Like controlling
Violet
it.
hasn't explored yet, or that she could actually like create the dreams.
Cool.
So
Yeah, I love that. Maybe that's why it's so powerful.
All right, so Violet's in Zaden's dream. It's the first time she knows she knows that she's in the dream. Garrick returns from patrol injured by Theophany. And she said that they reached Dreyfus, which is the coastal poor oatmeal city bordering Tyrandor, to bring... and basically she's like, she is not Violet.
Right.
I was like, is she Andarna? She is not Andarna. She is Mira.
Mm-hmm.
Theophany has Mira, and she says you must bring Bodhi and Violet or Mira will die.
Yeah. So we talked about everything I have to do about... we talked all my notes about chapter 56. Anybody else need any chapter 56 notes? I'm good. You do?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I had said in the last couple episodes that I always felt like Violet was going to go to the Venom or Theophany with some kind of intention. Here it is. So, yes, it's coerced because Mira's there, but she is very much now going to be like, I am going to go to Theophany myself.
Yeah.
I'll give you a half point for that.
I also have sort
point.
of this wondering about the fact that Mira can raise a ward. And I wonder if at some point she is able to, like, protect Zaden from himself. So he's not as inclined to channel from the earth. I feel like that's something that hasn't been explored, and I wonder if it will.
At the beginning of chapter 57, Amanda, I'll let you take it, but I wrote, like, oh my god, is Mira gonna die? Like, I really thought, at this point, I really thought she was gonna die.
I know, you've been thinking that Mira's in trouble for a while.
Yeah.
I never doubted that Mira was in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I really got bad vibes about this whole situation.
Too many family members that would be dead.
Yeah. My notes for chapter 57 just say some planning is happening. So let me tell you what that is. They're debating what to do. They realize that Theophany wants Jack, not Bodhi, because they're talking about bringing Zaden's brother. Bodhi is his cousin, but Jack is also a Venom who was turned by the same guy, maybe?
Question mark.
Violet must choose one objective for the mission. So they're like, you can't try to save Mira and get this poor oatmeal citizens safe and do all these other things. You have to choose one objective, and she chooses to kill Theophany. Brennan reminds her that she can't save everyone or stray from her orders.
Those are kind of all my notes as well. And I really like that because that's real. Like, in reality, you cannot do all of these things.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
So...
Well, there's a couple things that also happen. So at the beginning of the chapter, I guess it's not the beginning, but as they're starting to head towards Drathis, the city, Irids is going in the wrong direction.
Yes.
And so, like, it's clear that we're all like, where the heck are you going? You know, hey, you're first year, you're not supposed to be out here anyways, but also, like, why are you going off by yourself? So that will come back, of course. And then Theophany makes this deal where basically she was like, yes, if you bring Jack and Violet, then the city will stand. But standing is not the same as everybody being safe and alive and okay. And so, as we've learned in so many fantasy books, words matter. And so this did not mean that the city was going to be protected, and therefore it is not.
So in chapter 58, the Wyvern are outnumbering the riders in Drathis. Tyne, Mira's dragon, is chained up, and Theophany is holding knives to Mira. Garrick brings Jack, and Theophany slits Mira's throat at the very end of the chapter. I wrote Mira with like 100 A's, but Kim, you have feelings about when characters die in Rebecca's books.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and what I wrote down at the end of this chapter is I said, Mira's not dead. And it's true because a major character like this, Rebecca is not going to kill off at the end of a chapter.
She doesn't do that.
She doesn't do it. So if someone's actually dead, they're going to get a whole climactic scene that's going to continue on, and everyone's going to have all the feels, and that is going to be all in a chapter and not be split up. So I knew she wasn't dead.
Yeah, I still thought she was dead because I thought the next chapter was going to be all about that. Like, I thought that's where
I mean, Andarna leaving did happen at the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
But that's not a death.
Not a death.
I support your theory, Kim.
I'm fine with that, too. The only note that I have that we haven't talked about is it was really crazy to see a dragon chained. We've never seen a dragon incapacitated like that.
I mean, Terran got, like, knocked out.
He got knocked out, but, like, we've never seen a dragon captured.
Yeah.
Or immobile, like, held captive.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, like, to me, that showed how powerful they were.
Yeah.
So I like that.
All right. Chapter 59. Teamwork makes the dream work. So Brennan is trying to save Mira. He's trying to mend her. He's having trouble mending her slit throat. There's a lot of blood. He's using all his power. It's a whole thing. So Dane and Sloane show up. Sloane, as we know, is a siphon. And so Dane and Sloane have a little flirty thing going on. And so Sloane siphons some of Dane's power, and Conduit transfers it to Brennan so that Brennan can mend Mira. I thought this was so cool.
Very cool. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Well, and I love that Dane was very much like, no one needs my signet today, so please take my power.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I thought this was really cool.
Again, he is a bitch. But he's our bitch.
Yeah, agreed. And so Mira lives. She's doing okay. Sloane also leaves a package from Irids, which appears to be addressed to Irids. So Violet's like, why do I have this? And
my thought was just open the fucking package.
Yeah, open the package.
Like, clearly.
Yeah, and then again, I asked, how can all Venons be bad if siphons exist? I still have this question, but I don't know, guys. I don't know.
How can what?
How can all venom be bad if siphons exist?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
So one of the things that did happen at the beginning of this chapter also is they had brought Jack with them as Theophany had asked. And before Theophany leaves, after she splits Mira's throat, she attempts to hit Jack.
She tries to kill him. Right?
I think so.
She throws a dagger at him.
And I feel, as I have felt about Theophany this whole time that we've known her, is that she is a stormtrooper. because she can't hit anything and she continually has her moment where she could kill and doesn't capitalize on it.
Terrible aim.
Really annoys me. And then also my theory too, and I've been feeling this for the last chapters in this book, I think Bodhi's going to die at some point. But now my theory for book 5 is that it's only going to be after Violet gets pregnant.
Oh my god.
So there actually is an heir, because Bodhi keeps being like, I don't want to be the heir.
No, I don't believe that.
I think you're right, and I hate that.
I really feel like a pregnancy is going to happen here.
I think, no, whatever. We don't talk about that now. We'll talk about that later. Speaking of things to talk about later, one thing I did note that I will talk about at the end of our conversation is
But also right now.
I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm just going to say that when she did this whole siphoning thing, Violet very much was like, why doesn't Brennan and Dane have a mark on them? Question mark. And I wrote some things up with Brennan. I will talk about that at the end of the book.
Okay. I have some other notes from here, but I don't really know what they mean. Zaden's doing some shadow stuff, and they mention a shadow talon. That made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. We haven't talked about how Venin are able to create Wyvern, but that made me really uncomfortable if he's making talon-shaped shadows. Yeah. I don't like that. I also wrote, what's with the marks? But I don't know what marks I'm talking about.
I think you're talking about the hand marks.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Yes. We'll talk about it at the end.
Great. So they all leave except for Bodhi and Violet, which moves us into chapter 60. Taryn is trying to remove Mira's dragon.
He's big mad about it.
I think it's Teen.
Teen.
It's time.
Theophany's back. She's trying to battle Violet.
Tiny.
She realizes... Tiny. Theophany keeps being like, I will prove myself to him this time. And it's like, who is she talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's talking about... Hold on. I have a name. She's talking about Berwyn.
Ugh.
Hate that name. Terrible name.
Venin have awful names. Is it like a law that you have to have an awful name to become a Venin? Or do you become a Venin and then step into a chosen name?
I like the name Theophany.
Theophany,
what?
Berwyn,
I don't hate it.
Jack. Like...
And Peggy.
Berwyn I hate. I hate that name.
You don't hate Theophany?
No.
Oh my god, I hate that name so much.
I don't know if I've ever I don't know if I've ever hated a name in a book as much as I hate Theophany.
I do. Berwyn.
No, I hate Theophany more.
All right.
Okay. Violet realizes Theophany is not a lightning wielder,
Dun, dun, dun.
but she's a storm wielder.
Trooper.
She is not
Right?
magic's balance to Violet. She's magic's balance to Violet's mother.
Guys, I was so upset at this. Because, again, Rebecca, I think she's a really fun writer and told us this in the beginning
I know
of the
the
book.
clues were there.
Yeah.
Like,
It was really
when
good.
I read the chapter in the beginning, I was like, where did this tornado come from?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, we've never seen weather like this. That's random. Did she make, she didn't make it. And like, that's what I said to myself. Did she? No, she didn't. Like, oh my God.
All right. Bodhi believes his signet, which counters signets, can help, but his dragon queer.
I don't-
Cure.
I like queer.
Queer. It's Happy Pride, everybody. Happy Pride to queer. His
We
dragon.
now have Tiny and Queer.
Tiny and queer. So queer, who is Bodhi's dragon, just picks him up,
Then let's
Right.
go.
carries him away.
It's like, no, you idiot. We're out of here.
Yeah.
And then she says, Theophany is like, your mother knew at your age that you couldn't. So like her mom knew Theophany,
Yes, yes.
knew who she was, which you had predicted.
Yes.
But then the evidence that you cited, Kim and I were like, that doesn't predict that. But you were right anyway. Violet fights Theophany, and she keeps being like, Violet is like, but I'm not the best of us. She is. And I wrote, who is? Rhiannon? Question mark. Anything else on chapter 60?
Well, I do think it's, this is like Mom's entire origin story here.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
fact
Yes.
that she knew Theophany, and this is like the entire reason why she was like, I am going to hide my family,
Yes.
and I am, going to try to, protect us and be within the wards and support Navarre, whatever we call it. So this really kind of explains Mom in so much detail, knowing this now.
Yeah, and Theophany says something that she says, there's only one exception to the rule, Violet. Imagine my surprise when it turned out to be you. I don't know what she means. Then she says, if it was going to be one of her daughters, I'd have bet on your sister. So I don't know what this one she's speaking of. But again, this shows that she knew Violet as a child. She knew her sister as a child.
Right.
She knew Lilith as a child and knew them really, really well.
Yeah.
So,
That's real.
Yep, totally.
All right. So I was like, who is Rhi? And then we move into chapter 61, which is from Rhiannon's point of view. Rick, how do you feel about this?
Literal plot twist here.
in my notes, oh God, it's from Rhi's POV. Someone help.
I loved this.
I ended up loving it, but I hated it at first.
Dude,
but
I
did
was
like
thrilled.
It. Yes.
Thrilled.
I also wonder, what does this mean for the next books?
Well, she has only been doing the alternate perspectives at the end of the books. This was usually it's been like the last chapter, but this one it was the last like there were 3
5,
chapters.
yeah.
So it was like alternating, so like 5 or 6. So I hope that she only does it towards the end. But I thought it was cool that she did it. It feels a little intrinsic to me. You know what I mean? It's like, because I know Violet's not like projecting into them, but it like feels like we are. And I like that. Okay, so Rhiannon is inspecting the Madaro Pass. Remember, Violet can only do the one objective. She's trying to kill Theophany. So Rhiannon is working on the treacherous path that the poor Oatmeal citizens have to walk through. Marin, Kat, Sawyer, and Neve,
Who?
a flyer.
Sure.
Riddick and Bragan,
Yeah.
a flyer, are with her. They're fighting Wyvern, and she is like calling out formations for the strength of the squad.
Yeah, I don't care about that. You know what I care about? Riddick did the ice thing.
Riddick froze a Wyvern, and he falls to the ground and shatters.
So cool. He did
We
it.
love him even more.
Do we stand Riddick? There are 2 other things that, 2 quotes that I want to call out from this quote. One is from Ferge, who is Rhiannon's dragon. Fergie, tiny, and queer. So Fergie says, acknowledging your fear for the lightning wielder does not compromise you. Ignoring it does. Accept the emotion and move on. I loved that. I'm going to print it out and put it in our office because I think it's a really good way to go through life. Rhiannon also says at one point, this situation has real shit show potential.
Yeah.
And I might also print that out and put it in our office.
And this, we talked about this before, but the way that Rebecca is really digging into the rider and dragon relationships is just so good and so much fun. And
that's why we told our associate head of school to read the book. Not because of the soup.
Nope, not
but because of the dragons.
I bought her Iron Flame. She was really happy.
But, Fergie here ends up being kind of this demanding perfectionist, which is so fitting for Rhiannon because she is the leader of the squad. And that's, something that characterizes her so well too. So I just love seeing, how strong the bond is and how sort of close the characterization is between the rider and the dragons.
Riddick's dragon is a jokester.
Yep.
Sawyer's dragon is proud. And Rhiannon's dragon is a perfectionist.
And Varish's dragon was a dick.
Yeah. And Scale is like...
Moody.
Yeah.
She's broody.
She broods.
She broods, yeah.
So, all right, chapter 62. We're back to Violet's perspective. Theophany's dagger scrapes her throat. Violet breaks her nose and gains control. Theophany says that to survive in their world, you must protect your magic. She says that occupying ground where magic has been repurposed creates a barrier. You must drain it yourself, and says that Violet needs to do so before Theophany gets to her or she'll die. Violet races to a wyvern for a barrier, and Scale lifts her and then drops her to Taryn, and Scale says, you are an inconvenience for which there is no adequate measure. Theophany also implies here that Zaden can't love. A Venin is not capable of love.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was kind of like,
Yeah. That's interesting.
Really trying to get in her head.
So Theophany's on the battlefield with Venin and Wyvern. Violet and Taryn decide to attack. Violet wields lightning, and a tornado strikes. Taryn is so proud of Violet here. Aeric's dragon Molvik brings the 1,000 soldiers and their horses from Zilhilna, which is the luck place. And Violet is continuing to fly towards Theophany.
As my note says, the phony, not Theophany, the phony tried to kill her And I got confused with whatever acrobatics and jumping on wyvern were happening.
Yeah, I got confused too, but I thought it was really cool that she was like, I can't be on the ground. I can't touch the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to climb on this wyvern. Like, I thought that was so smart. And then Scale was just like, boop.
Throughout this whole time, like 3 chapters ago, I was like, oh my god, is Bodhi going to die? And at this point, I was like, oh no, Bodhi is here. I can't take this. I can't have anyone die.
Well, I originally just threw out that I thought Bodhi was a rat, but then I forgot that I said that with absolutely no textual evidence. I just like picked a random guy. So I was like, well, Bodhi can't die because he's the rat.
Right.
And I was like, I don't believe that actually.
I rode Vi shocked like 100 wyvern. That was awesome.
Yeah.
She finally wielded it in a useful way.
Yeah. She was
taken
crushing
her a while.
it. She was doing such a great job.
And then Eric brought the army, and we find this out as we get into chapter 63 here, because he knew.
Because he knew.
He knew.
How did he know though?
We're not there yet.
Okay.
It is this next chapter.
Oh,
So
no.
64. So 63 is from Imogen's perspective.
God, no.
So Imogen and her dragon Glane, they're killing the wyvern. The wielders, or the Venin, are headed for the turret where Quinn, who as a reminder is a fourth wing rider and Imogen's best friend. She's
Girlfriend also, right?
I thought so, but apparently no.
Okay.
They're just
she's not.
besties.
They're
Yeah,
just
because
besties.
Quinn has a different girlfriend.
Yes.
And
That's right.
And Imogen is in love with Garrick.
Yeah. Right.
But which they talk about in the first book, but I had forgotten.
I absolutely forgot that.
Okay, so Dark Wyvern are headed towards Quinn, and Imogen descends and it heads that way. Imogen refers to the flame of perpetual rage in her chest. Again, gonna print that out and put it in our wall. This was also the point when I said, that's it. I'm making us a character guide when this is all done. And I will update it live with each set of chapters that we read because I can't do this anymore. Dean, sorry, go ahead.
And before, as Imogen is with her dragon, and so the beginning part of this chapter here, before we get into some of the action stuff in it, is really, again, about the relationship. Mm-hmm. And so her dragon, Glane, is an abrasive queen. Just like Imogen.
Yeah, just like if her dragon had hair, it would be a side shave lavender
Pink, yeah.
situation. All right, so Dane joins Imogen. There's fire, and Imogen turns her shield into stone because all the marked ones have second signets.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
Because I think it's like the dragon knew, and I don't know. Something's going on. The dragons knew, and so they purposely bonded people. That I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
The fire parts around them. Dane fights the Venin on the wall, and Imogen heads to the turret. Quinn projects herself because Quinn's signet is that she can astral project. So there's like a bunch of different Quinns, and the real Quinn approaches from the stairs below. Imogen and Quinn kill the Venin with daggers to the chest. However, the Venin has stabbed Quinn near the heart, and she dies. This wrecked me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was a moment of silence, a mutual moment of silence.
Yeah.
So actually before Imogen gets to Quinn, these like civilians run by and they're like, she's still there. You have to help her or something.
Yeah.
And Imogen thinks that they're like talking about their friend, but they're actually talking about Quinn because Quinn saved them. And so she goes back and gets to Quinn and so
it was really sad.
this was really sad.
And as she's passing and Imogen is with her, I thought one of the saddest things here too is that Imogen tells her that her family is going to take care of her on the other side. And so, like best friend trying to comfort her friend as she's draining of life. It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I wrote, I'm broke. I said, I was like, Quinn was always a fine character for me. Like
I had forgotten who she was.
Right. So
and this still wrecked me.
So, yeah. So, like, when she was dying, I was like, oh, okay, Quinn's going to die. That's fine. I was like, I knew Quinn was about to die, and I was okay with that until I wasn't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She also, like, Quinn says to her, like, we made it a good one.
Oh, God.
No.
And we didn't know what that was, but because we're in Imogen's story right now, it harkens back to them on the parapet the day that they joined the quadrant. And Quinn, like, runs up to Imogen and is like, I've decided we should be friends. And Imogen's like, we're probably about to die. And she was like, all right, well, it'll be a short friendship, but let's make it a good one. Whew. Imogen also Quinn also tells Imogen, like, dude, just tell Garrick you're into him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Life is short, I'm
right.
dying.
Yep.
And then Garrick shows up. So he says Imogen has to go because the Dark Wielders are at the walls draining the stone. Garrick has been like running back and forth, like distance wielding people back and forth. And so he's like, Imogen, you got to go. Bodhi's also there and he throws up, which apparently is important enough for the literary lifestyle to include it. I don't remember that.
We love you, literary lifestyle. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Chapter 64. We are back in Violet's point of view. Her conduit shatters. Theophany slows the storm to make it harder for Violet to wield. Taryn and Violet get caught in a net and fall. Violet discovers a marble dagger in Aeric's package. It was a gift from the High Priestess's Temple of Dune in Arisha. Theophany...
Temple of Doom is an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, so this is obviously Aeric is psychic. This is where we find out that he can...
Precognition, as they call
he's
it.
precog, yeah. Which is also what the things in Minority Report are called.
Oh my god, I thought the same thing too. You didn't see that movie, Kim. I thought the same thing too.
You were so mean to Kim this week.
Kim doesn't watch movies.
I have seen Minority Report.
Yeah.
Rick also likes to conveniently forget that we were in high school and college at the same time. And so, yeah, we were watching the same movies.
I wrote, I had to put this in. I wrote, Aeric is a precog. And not a bitch one like Melgren, because Melgren can't do the whole thing.
Yeah, he can't do the whole thing, right? Aeric, but of course we said his signet was going to be something really powerful.
Yeah.
We said it was going to be something really cool and really useful. Check, check, check.
Yep.
This is, of course, like, again, he's going to be king.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a big deal. I know he's not first in line, but like his brother's a bitch, so.
Oh my god, king bitch. So again, like.
No, he's the
bitch king?
Bitch prince.
Yeah, well, this is also like, there's literally, I know this because we teach this, but there's like an Egyptian myth about like Horus and Seth, and it's like they're fighting and somebody dies, and like the prodigal son returns and becomes king because he's like my son has returned. So like it just feels like that, where it's like, okay, but then like the rightful heir is like the good one, and Aeric is the good one even though he's not first in line.
Yeah, I just needed to comment here for a second. I'm looking over Rick's shoulder at the notes that he has on his phone, and everything is in caps.
Oh my god!
I copied this from the book because it was in the epitaph, and when you take a picture and copy it from the picture, it copies in caps.
Okay, so Aeric gives her a marble dagger from the High Priestess.
Also, look at your own notes.
I am. Okay.
Guys,
sorry.
I'm a Libra,
Sorry.
and
right.
all they're doing is fighting all the time, and it's too much for me.
Okay, guys,
all
I'm
right.
not fighting with Rick. He just comes at me.
Continue.
Okay, Theophany is approaching. Theophany refers to Violet as being like touched but not dedicated. So like again, that's all happening. Zaden sends powerful shadows, and Taryn says to use the darkness. Violet realizes that Aeric's signet is precognition. Violet uses the marble to wield lightning, and she hits Theophany. Andarna appears.
Yay,
Distracting.
baby girl
She
is back.
was not gone for very long,
Nope.
but we did miss her dearly. She distracts Theophany, and Violet kills Theophany with the marble dagger. Stone doesn't kill Venin, but she was never just Venin because she was a high priestess.
Yeah.
And Dooney is wrathful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rip Theophany.
A couple things. So I was curious how long that Aeric has had his signet. Since Rebecca likes to do this, I would have loved to go back and see things.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was thinking about how calm he was at the dinner on the Wisdom Island.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And
wow.
so I wonder if he knew
Right.
what was going, like he knew what was up.
But he did pick up his fork.
But he didn't eat the cake.
He didn't eat the cake, yeah.
Well, but because she bats it out of his hand.
But he probably, maybe he knew. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I wrote, my baby's back. She's back.
But if he hadn't been training it might not be perfect yet.
Fair.
I don't know. So maybe he only knew that they were
Or
going
he
to get
also
out
was
okay.
just like playing around. Or
Or he like knew that they were going to get out okay, but that they weren't going to get... Maybe he knew that they weren't going to get the troops. And so he was like, this is stupid, I'm not going to try.
Yeah.
But he didn't know everything that was going to happen.
Totally.
I was actually shocked that Theophany died. I really thought she was
Yeah, but we thought the sage died, and he's apparently not dead.
Yeah, but
so...
Theophany's dead. Okay,
I don't think so.
No, she's dead. The stage died off screen, which always concerned me.
Yeah.
Theophany died. She's dead. I really thought she was going to be a bigger bad, at least until the next book. I liked her. I know you guys didn't like her. I liked her.
Set up for her to be dead.
No, she's dead. You can stamp that now here. She's gone.
I think
She's
she
gone.
might be dead, but I think there's more to her
Story. There's more to her story.
Do you want to come in? Come in.
Literally podcasting.
Yeah.
We have a special guest. Although we were talking about a book that she hasn't read
Yeah,
yet,
we're
but
not
she's
gonna
going
talk
to
about
read.
This is Onyx Storm.
Okay, all I'm going to say is
Oh, you got to speak.
on the podcast,
That nobody listens to.
No, we have 5 listeners.
these people have introduced me to this series. They gave me a copy of Iron Flame. I've been up to midnight the past 2 nights reading the book. I don't have the time for this, but I can't control myself. I want to just know what's going to happen. I'm so worried about what's happening to Andarna. She's asleep. She's in the dreamless state. What's going to happen to her? What's going to happen?
It makes you feel better. The worry never ends.
I do have to say, though, we were just talking about how you get so much in Onyx Storm about, like, the different connections that different writers have with their dragons. And I was like, and that's why I recommended this book to Beth. Because I was like, I love the dragons.
Where were we?
That's like our second biggest boss.
Yeah.
And she just saw us podcasting at work and was like, have fun, guys.
Yeah.
Final
Sorry,
sleep.
y'all couldn't hear most of that.
Yeah, we'll have to
conversation.
edit some of that out just because you won't be able to hear it. But I love
We?
that. I'll do it.
You won't.
I would.
It's fine. I'll clip it out. It takes 2 seconds.
Oh my God.
Takes
Okay.
seconds.
I don't know where we were. We were talking about how she.
Yeah, she's dead. She's gone.
Yeah, is she actually dead or not?
She's gone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's chapter 65 time.
right.
And so in chapter 65, we're in Zaden's perspective. Scale is wounded.
What? Hiccup.
Okay. Scale is wounded. And then Pancheck, who I'm pretty sure is a student we had who graduated a couple years ago.
Dan.
Yeah.
Pancheck.
He was a commandant
Bitch.
at
Bitch.
Vizgaiath, and he's Venin. So Zaden can't kill him, or Berwyn, who's the sage. Pancheck is the traitor from within. I thought this was disappointing.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, who's that?
I mean, I knew who he was.
I didn't.
I was fine with it. I was like, okay, all right. I was fine with it. I was like, all right. It's not again, in like real, I know we're talking about dragons, but like in reality, maybe the big person wouldn't be the traitor. It'd be somebody in the middle who's just like looking out for himself type of thing.
But I don't think he's in the middle. He's like so minor. I forgot who he was.
Yeah.
I remember him. I was like, oh, okay, he's.
Good for you.
Yeah, I tried. I've taken notes.
My working memory is one-handed.
Oh my god, here we go with my concussion.
Rex just coming for everybody.
So they keep talking about Zaden's new brother. Another
Yeah.
person close to him is there who has turned Venin.
Which is why I was fine with Pancheck being the traitor, because the brother thing is going to be the big one.
All right.
That's fair, because that's the true.
Right.
Yeah, that's like the
that's
big
the
traitor.
turn.
Yeah. Okay. Berwyn kills Pancheck's dragon with his dagger. Or no.
He
Did they say it's
kills him
Pancheck's
on-
dragon?
Yes.
Yes, it is
And it's
Pancheck's
killed
dragon.
on contact. Yeah.
Okay. Kills him with a dagger, threatens Scale. Zaden wields dark shadows to kill the Venin guards and knock Berwyn and Pancheck unconscious. Zaden's soul departs. He becomes the ice, killing Wyvern across the city. He clings to his love for Violet, but he is no longer an initiate. His eyes have red veins. He says, I've never felt so strong and defeated at the same time. Scale conveys that the wards are completed, but they extend no further than Drathus.
Go ahead, Kimberly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big questions here, of course, are they're playing up whoever this brother is. I'm curious as to all of our thoughts of who this person might be.
Bodhi.
So I know you've said that, and I've been like, Bodhi's the rat. I don't know. But I feel like Bodhi has to be the heir. So like how... I don't know. I don't
Bodhi
know.
doesn't want to be the heir.
No, I know, but how? But like, neither does Rick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how it can be Bodhi, and Tyrandor can survive.
But you even just said like Bodhi is not going to leave Zaden alone.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not Venin maliciously. Maybe he did it to be with Zaden.
And Venin might not inherently be bad.
I mean, that's wrong. But
Well, and again, thinking
Guys,
about red
I'm
herrings.
like so adamant about that like 2 episodes ago, and then I just decided to be the most adamant about it because I really wanted to lock in on something, and
It was not the thing.
It's not the thing. Third Signet, though.
Yeah, that's good.
I wonder if the red herring here is the fact that they keep using the word brother. And so we're thinking about male identifying characters right now, but what if it's not a male identifying character?
What if it's Sloane?
Yeah.
She's already a siphon.
Yeah.
But she didn't leave handprints.
Because she wasn't Venom then.
She wasn't
Fair.
Venom yet. Yeah.
Maybe she didn't mean to turn Venom.
True.
She just thought she was siphoning.
Fair.
I don't know. I'm not certain. Like, I think it requires a level of certainty to podcasts that I just don't have, guys. I'm a Libra.
I love just going all in and being wrong. It's fine. But anything else, Kim?
I'm not sure what my notes are for this one or for the next one. No, it's for this one. I have a note about Seagull, but you can go first.
Go ahead. Go.
So one of the things that comes out at the end of this chapter also is that we learn that even though Zaden has now fully turned, Seagull accepts him still.
Well, she says...
No. She does not.
What?
She says, Zaden says, you're not going to forsake me, right?
And she says, what is
there
left to
of you
forsake?
forsake? And I was like, oh,
But
God.
she stays with him, though.
She is not...
She takes him
Yeah,
away.
she doesn't... Yeah.
So she doesn't leave him.
I don't
So,
know
okay,
if
fine.
she has a choice, but she's like, there's nothing
She has
left.
a choice. No one's ever made Scale do anything in her life.
Right,
like, there's
exactly.
nothing
She could
left
break.
of you.
She could break the bond if she wanted to.
The way she says it, though, that there's nothing left of you, I was like, oh my God.
God, that wrecked me.
Are we reading the same book, Kim?
Well, I said after that he did the terrible, awful, no good, very bad thing.
All right,
But
last
she
chapter.
did take him, so she still stayed with him.
That's interesting. I didn't pick up on that, but I do think that's interesting. So chapter 66, we're back to Violet's point of view. And she...
Oh, but yeah, actually, this is important because Zaden in the last chapter is like, and they're having a conversation, and they're like, she has to do it. She has to agree with us. She'll do it. She'll help us. She'll save you. Like, that's a conversation between Zaden and Sigale. And then we go to this chapter. That's an important part.
Okay. All right, so it's chapter 66. Violet awakens at Zaden's house. An officer tells Brennan that 4 riders, their dragons, and 3 elders were killed in the valley. 4 riders, including Garrick, and 6 eggs from the hatching grounds are missing. Zaden is presumed responsible. Okay, Garrick is missing.
I know, but that feels like
Too, okay.
Yep, feels
Yeah.
obvious.
Violet's really disoriented. There's an emerald ring on her finger, and she finds out that she has married Zaden.
Yep.
And she doesn't recall because she asked Imogen to use her signet to wipe her memories. She says that Imogen tenses so hard she might as well be stone, which I loved.
Oh, yeah.
Zaden left a note telling her not to look for him, and it's hers now, implying but not confirming that she now rules Tyrrendor.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's how the book ends.
I loved it. I really like that ending. Our unofficial podcast friend Annie didn't. I loved it. I really loved the way that it ended. It made me want more. I thought it was a great ending.
I'm really on the fence about... I'm not, like, mad at it, but I can't believe we have to wait.
Yeah,
now.
right.
Hold on. Yeah. And
We read them in rapid succession, and now it's like...
2 years.
Right, but I think we can objectively say that the best Star Wars is Empire, and Empire ends on the same cliffhanger, right? You know, so like this.
Yes.
Is,
okay.
This is. I'm really fine with this. This is The Empire Strikes Back. It's a great ending. We have to wait, and that just makes me love it even more. To the feeling of like, oh my God, I have to wait now shows how much I really love this book, which I think is really good.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I
I don't know how I feel about the marrying thing.
Oh my God, in my notes, Kim and Toomey are going to hate that she's married. Thank you. That's an extra point for me.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
thank
I
you.
just like don't want us to impose like
Yeah. Thank
American dream, like patriarchal structures onto this like badass dragon lady.
And I don't think that, so I even wrote this, like, I don't think that they're doing that because, like, they've already established that a queen, like, there was the queen of whatever place that, like, a queen, like, a woman can be the ruler, which is what she is.
No, I know, but like I just I don't know. I guess I'm skeptical. That's my take on the end of this book. I'm skeptical.
That's fine.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Conspiracy Corner. No, not yet. Damn it.
No, go ahead.
No. We should rate the book. We should rate the book, right?
All right. I need a foot rest.
Stars
and
soup?
Stars first.
Yeah, this is easily 5 stars for me. Done. From the beginning, hooked. Like, I think I read all of our homework in no longer than 2 days each. I could not stop reading this book.
5 stars.
5 stars all around.
All right.
This is official Romantasy Round Table 5-star read.
Yeah.
First one. We
It's our
love
first
that.
one. No thanks to
From
Kim.
Blood and Ash didn't get 5 stars from
It
us.
should have. Because you all are wrong.
What we gave it, a 2.5 because we had to round.
I don't know, but then Rick interrupted a podcast later to be like, Amanda and Kim aren't here, and I am confessing that From Blood and Ash is good.
It's good. It was fun.
Well, we're gonna have to read more of it because we gotta wait 2 years for Onyx
right?
Storm.
Yeah.
Whatever it's going to be called. Oh, I did see a thing that was like talking about the covers, which like, because we read on Kindle, we don't necessarily get to see, but like the covers are like forming a gradient and it's like they're getting like grayer.
Vanish.
So like they think the next book is going to be like maybe like go like fade to black, but then what's the 5th book going to be?
Yeah.
Is it going to go back to gold? That's the question.
Cool. Okay, soup.
Soup.
I don't know, man, like 3. The soup wasn't like, it was fine, but like this book is not about soup for me.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, I'll give it a 3 just because it was average-ish.
Yeah, I'm fine with rounding it off at a 3. Like, the soup was good. It wasn't necessarily memorable.
Yeah. And it wasn't like the point.
Yeah. Like, I'm reading this vampire book, and like, that's memorable. It was good, but it wasn't crazy. So our official rating on soup is 3 soup cans.
3 soup cans.
All right, Conspiracy Corner time.
Go ahead.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you've been ready for it.
Guys, this is all I've ever wanted to do in my life, is just talk about what's going to happen in this next book. And I have a lot of different thoughts. So I'm going to start with the big one that I'm ready to lock in, lock of the week, football. Berwin is the worst name ever for a sage, but that is not his given birth government name. His given government name is Leoan. Leoan is the sage.
Yeah, you and everyone on Reddit.
Okay,
Did
well,
you think this before you saw it on Reddit, or did Reddit make you think this?
I've never seen this on Reddit.
That's a lie.
I swear to God.
That is a lie. If both of us have seen it on Reddit, you have seen it on Reddit.
I did not. I purposely don't look for spoilers.
This was after I read it, though.
I was writing this down as I swear to God, I did not look at this on Reddit.
Go ahead.
Great.
So this goes back to that Mark thing, right? That Violet specifically noted, right? When there was the channeling, a siphoning that Sloane did. And Brennan already had a mark on him from when Leoan did this to him. And the thought was, he siphoned to a person, which is why there's a mark. But after Sloane did it, there was no mark on Brennan or Dane.
Right.
So I believe that, and I think it was implied in the first book, that Brennan and Leoan were together.
I just Googled Berwin, and it's a Welsh name that means white-haired.
Like a Brennan. Oh, white-haired. Interesting. So
Like a priest. Right.
like the Pope.
Like the Pope, who I went to high school with.
You did. So I think that Leoan was trying to save Brennan, and in doing so, channeled and turned Brennan while saving him, and he's like fallen. And I think he's the sage. That's my big no. That's my big one. I've got a couple others, but I'll pass the torch around.
I think your logic is sound, and as we've said, have also seen similar theories on Reddit. And I'm not even like a big Reddit person. So I'm curious to see where that goes. And I also wonder if she has finished this book or has like truly defined what her arc is for 4 and 5, and if she's going to keep track of some of these theories and then be like, nope.
I'm going to read a Reddit post from Historical Brief 2414, which is like clearly a throwaway name.
Am I the only one who thinks Leoan is alive? I think he tapped into the corrosive power that Venin used when he saved Brennan. Using the dark magic could have severed his bond with Terran. I think he's now one of the leaders of the Venin. After learning Brennan is alive, we obviously can't trust the narrative around what happened between them.
Yeah.
But adding in the conflict of Terran having to fight his old rider and Brennan having to fight his old friend or possibly lover would be great. Plus, having a good character corrupted by the dark side by saving a hero character is top-tier angst. Up until now, we've seen characters toe the line of burnout without real consequences. Exploring the idea of power corrupting, even when the motivation is honorable, would be good.
That also reminded me that we've never been told that he died. Terran has never said that he's died. He's always said we don't talk about the other guy. That's all he said.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kim. What else you got? What else we got, guys?
I don't know what else I have. I feel like I've shared some of my thoughts already.
Okay, but there's also a comment on here. Sorry, somebody says, that's my theory too. I've posted on a few other threads. I think that Leoan turned Venin. He siphoned from the sun, because Leoan means sun god, which is true. That's how I found this thread. And burned out, saving Brennan, his lover. Now he is the big bad sage Violet has to defeat. But somebody responds and said, the sage says to Violet he's been waiting centuries for someone like her. That's hundreds of years. He is one of the three brothers in the fables. One was Venin, one was a dragon rider, and the other was a griffin rider.
Yeah, no, that's good too.
I don't know. I don't really have conspiracy theories other than the third
That makes so much sense
Signet.
for it to bring back the book.
Which is, again,
That's good.
it's Harry Potter.
It is. Yep.
I've got, guys, this is just stick with me here. I also think that Dylan could be the sage. Dylan fell off the parapet, right, and didn't die, and was trying to save himself and channeled.
Died off screen.
He died off screen.
Never trust an off-screen death.
Okay.
Guys, I'm coming back from the dead. I'm excited about that.
I have a couple
a good
actually
theory.
decent ones.
Wait, didn't you change into somebody else?
I think I changed it to somebody else who died.
So you get turned when you turn to Venin, right? Your soul dies, and I believe this is another one that's not a hard lock, but I think we can. This is where I think we're going to go. That they're going to save Zaden. That will happen, right? But if your soul is dying, the only way to get your soul back is to like mend it with a soul, right? Like soul for a soul, like the Infinity Stone. So I think someone will sacrifice themselves for Zaden in the next book, and it's Dane.
I think it's Kat.
Okay, yeah, it's good too.
I think it's one of the marked ones.
I think someone will sacrifice himself.
I don't know if it's Bodhi or if it's Garrick, but I feel like it's one of his besties is like...
Where's Serena?
True. What's her deal?
Other thoughts that I had, if there's a balance, is there a Venin precog?
Yeah, that's
Gotta
scary.
be.
Yeah.
That means we need a Venin lightning wielder?
Well, it would make so much sense because like we're talking about Panchek being like the traitor, but also like if they have a precog, then...
Then you have a precog Melgren. No? Would they have one of those? Right, balance?
Yeah.
This one I also think we could possibly go to, is Violet's dad Venin? The reason why I think that is because he was doing a lot of research, right? Maybe he was trying to find a way to bring Brennan back. They said he got sick and slowly died. Like maybe he was slowly turning Venin.
And his soul was slowly dying.
And he's always had the answers in his book. I think we will find the answer how to cure Zaden through his books that they'll find, because he was he wasn't able to save himself, but he knows how to cure the Venin, which is what I think will happen. Is it still just me? Is it just me talking, guys? Is that what's going on?
This is Rick's podcast.
Okay. This one
No longer a round table.
I really hate this one, but after listening to the first book, I think we're getting a Jack Barlow redemption arc.
Boo.
I really do. It's that typical thing.
First of all, it's pronounced Jack fucking Barlow.
Jack fucking Barlow. Theophany tried to kill him. He's not gonna like it.
Yeah, he knows stuff. They've already been like feeding him to ask him questions. He's probably gonna reveal some info and like, yeah, have some kind of a minor redemption.
Boo.
Yeah. Also, something I wrote, I think this morning or yesterday morning, because I'm listening to the first book. When Terran first bonds with Violet, he says to her, and Rebecca, throwing it all in her face from the beginning, he says, I know exactly who and what you are. That is why I bonded with you. And I'm like, damn it. What does that mean?
The prophecy. He knows.
That's a Taylor Swift song.
Those are all my notes. I loved it. I'm obsessed. I just want to figure everything out.
I don't have conspiracy theories. I just have questions. Where's Serena? What's Violet's third signet? Andarna's back, but she's not back.
Right.
So what's going on with Andarna? Who is the new Venin? What's up with Siphons? What's up with the marks? I think those are all my questions.
Yeah.
What's up with the priestesses?
I think my concerns about deaths, I swear to God, if she kills off Riddick at some point, I'm going to, stage a protest. And then same thing with Eric, which we say he's going to be king, but
He's
also,
gotta be king.
what if he goes bad?
No.
And he's the precog for the Venin.
He would know that he was going to go bad.
That's true. Which means he would also know his death.
Maybe. We don't know how his precog stuff works because
Right.
we haven't talked to him about it yet.
I have one more fun one that no one knows I'm about to do.
I'm scared.
I used ChatGPT's deep reasoning feature, and it spent 8 minutes, and I said predict things from the next book.
Oh, God. Okay, go ahead.
And it gave me likelihoods, and let's see how do we feel about this. Some of them are boring. All right, so this one, likelihood, very high. Violet spearheads a quest to cure or save Zaden, ultimately restoring his humanity. How do we feel about that?
That's
That's
this
like the
book.
whole point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one of Zaden's close friends, likely Bodhi, is confirmed as the Venin traitor, becoming an antagonist, likelihood high.
I mean, yes, I think we're all on board.
Yeah, I mean, I think signs also point to Garrick, though.
Andarna returns to Violet after a period apart, possibly bringing Irid allies at a crucial moment. Likelihood high.
That feels likely.
Violet will have to confront Malik, god of death,
Ooh.
or otherwise engage with divine forces to save Zaden.
Okay. I would love that. As we learned from when I first started talking about From Blood and Ash, I love when we get to interact with gods. I think it's so fun. Give me all of the, anthropomorphic god stuff. That would be very cool. I would be all in.
Kim doesn't like it.
No, I don't.
I think it's more likely that it would be Dooney, though.
Yeah. I was going to say, Rebecca has set up the gods well as we went to each of the islands. So I would love to see that continue as well.
What if they have, a representative on Earth? What if they each have a pope?
Ah, love that. This one's medium, and actually I think this one's going to be very high, but this one's a medium. General Eidos undermines the alliance, leading to a confrontation. I think that's actually really possible.
I mean, all the epigraphs for the mid-60s chapters were all about the growing conflict between Navarre and Tyrandor. So that feels also likely that he's going to be part of that too.
And if that happens, this next one will guarantee to happen, even though I think this has already sort of happened. Dane fully redeems himself, aiding Violet, possibly clashing with his father to protect her.
Yes, and dying.
Sure.
This one's a medium. This one's medium, and I don't like this. Revelation that Naolin is alive or turned Venin. Because that's a lock. Rick has locked that in. That's not
you
medium.
don't like that it's medium. Fine.
Right, I don't like that it's medium. We have the use of... Oh, I wrote this down too. We all said this. The use of magical artifacts, Emerald Ring, Warden's Box, Broken Compass.
Broken Compass is important.
To locate Zaden or heal his soul, likelihood high.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one's boring. A major battle unites all the allies, Navarre, Poor Oatmeal, Tyrandor.
That's just a book.
Yeah, right.
Medium, the Irids agree to help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
This one's boring. Another cliffhanger ending. So those are what they gave me.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Great. All right. So we're giving it 5 stars, 3 soups. We don't have more Empyrean to read. So we're going to do another one-off episode. And the book we are reading is called That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. It's by an author named Kimberly Lemming.
We love.
And if you read this, you get 2 bookmark quests from Goodreads.
What?
Is it not this one?
No.
Oh, never mind.
You get no bookmarks from
Sorry.
Goodreads.
I apologize.
Well, I mean, unless you read a certain number of books, because you can get that. Although I did get all of my bookmarks. So that's what we're reading. Our next episode will be about that.
One more time, what is it called?
That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. That's what our next one is about. Friends, what else are we reading?
I am pages away from finishing my second vampire book. It was very good. I really, really enjoyed it. And in that one, the gods are real. Like the big gods that they worship, like, come down. So I'm, like, really hoping that happens in Fourth Wing.
Fun. I just finished Casey McQuiston's The Pairing. And so it was, as we said before, sort of all the things I loved and hoped for. Plenty of bisexual soup. Lots of discussion of food and wine and scenery in Europe. So all those things were really nice, and I give it 4 stars.
I did Something Bad, which I'm not gonna, the author is Myanmar, so I'm not going to brutalize that name by trying to say it. But it was cute. I gave it 3.75 stars. I liked it. I wished there had been some soup. I would have liked some soup. But I also just thought, like, the mystery solving part was kind of a cop out. I guess it wasn't a mystery solving part, but you know what I mean? Like, the thrillery part was kind of a cop out. But I liked the romancy part. And then I read Disco Witches of Fire Island, which is my first Pride read by Blair Fell. I gave it 3.5 stars, which I thought was fine. I liked it. I liked the disco witchy stuff. I felt like it gave a good look into the, height of the AIDS crisis with the gay community in Fire Island. But I said this before we started recording. I feel like with both of these books that I just read, like, I feel like the protagonists are, like, agonizing about, like, their internal strife for too long. And so I'm currently reading Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and I'm hoping that I don't have that much agonizing about her internal strife, although I'm 16% of the way in, and I do believe we're going to agonize too much about internal strife.
Go to therapy. To the characters.
Yeah.
My vampire books, I give 5 stars. They were fantastic. And 5 stars not in a way of Fourth Wing. I've said this a bunch of different times. Like, my favorite movie of all time is not the same as the best movie I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Right? So, like, these books, like the vampire books, they're better than Fourth Wing. Like, they're better written. But Fourth Wing was more fun. So, it's still a 5-star book. So,
all right, friends. So, honk, honk, honk. Your homework is to read that Drunk Demon book.
Yep.
Just an FYI, we're going to read Bride after that by Allie Hazelwood, but we'll break that up into episodes. But our next one will be about drunk demons.
Yay.
Or people getting drunk and marrying demons.
Who knows?
Unclear.
All that.
Excited to find out.
Not the Space Cowboy one.
Oh my God. We talked about that in the last episode.
Okay.
We're not talking about it again.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.